Today we'll be looking at 1982's Megaforce, a film brought to us by stuntman turned director Hal Needham. Hal Needham brought us films like Smokey and the Bandit, Smokey and the Bandit 2, Cannonball Run, Cannonball Run 2, and Stroker Ace. With Megaforce, however, Hal Needham wanted to try something new and not just make another car chase movie. In his words, it would be like no other movie made before, and the machines we've built are extraordinary. There's one thing, although there's a lot of action, you don't see anyone get killed. I think people are beginning to get sick of that kind of thing. What we've tried to do here is make an entertaining film with some believable heroes the public can cheer for. Believable. Megaforce was produced as part of an ambitious four-picture partnership with Hong Kong film company Golden Harvest. The other three films in the slate were High Road to China, a boring-ass Tom Selleck biplane movie, The Protector, one of Jackie Chan's first American films, that was later recut into about 2 or 3 different other movies. And finally, there's still a movie called Blade Runner you might have heard about. Yeah, so at least one of these movies actually went on to make some money for Golden Harvest. So apart from recognizing its bizarre secondhand notoriety among science fiction films, let's go ahead and take a nice deep dive into Megaforce. The movie starts with an eye-bleeding, red-on-black prologue text.
Despite official denials by leaders of the free world, sources now confirm the existence of Megaforce, a phantom army of super-elite fighting men.
Blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. This sounds kind of familiar. We'll get back to this later. Then they run the opening credits over a negative exposed version of some footage from the movie. Wait a minute. Is that one name? Or was there a guy just called Hamburger who produced this movie? Ah, forget about it. Anyway, the movie opens with the villain blowing the hell out of some fucking models. The villain, of course, is fancy hat-loving rogue warlord Guerrera, portrayed by Henry Silva. In order to prevent Guerrera from starting a full-fledged war between two made-up countries nobody gives a crap about, the United Nations sends poor man's Richard O'Toole, Edward Mulhare, and Persis Kambata, who's kind of too good to be in this movie.
General, isn't it too hot to work yourself up?
You know, even in the worst days of the Yemen desert campaign, we received more civilized treatment. And we were prisoners at the time.
After a surprise varmint encounter, the General and Persis Kambata are introduced to the first member of Megaforce, human racism avatar, Dallas.
Well, sure. I'm from Megaforce. My name's Dallas.
I think I need that vodka and tonic.
You and me both, pal.
Sneaky little old devils, ain't they? They don't always play by the rules. They're supposed to rattle.
You may remember Michael Beck from the classic film The Warriors, where he played a badass, taciturn gang leader who never wore a shirt. It seems the more words and shirts you give Michael Beck, the more unpleasant he becomes to be around.
Dallas, what's your rank?
Rank? Why, ain't nobody got a rank in Megaforce, except the commander, but we all call him Hunter.
So the first 2 things we've learned about Megaforce is that it employs people like Dallas, and it's run like an experimental kindergarten. Good to know. After trying to hook the General and Persis Kambata on holographic porn, Dallas agrees to take them to visit Megaforce's reclusive leader, Hunter, who is currently out in the middle of the desert shooting balloons with a bunch of missiles while doing Papa Wheelies. Yeah, ISIS will never know what hit him. It's here we're introduced to the protagonist in Walking Midlife Crisis, Hunter, portrayed by Barry Bostwick, that guy without any clothes on in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Call me Hunter.
Before we go any further, remember when I mentioned G.I. Joe in the beginning? When I implied that Megaforce may just be a big G.I. Joe ripoff? Well, technically, it's the other way around. Megaforce predates the 80s G.I. Joe cartoon by at least 2 years. Another weird bit of trivia is that the costumes for the film were designed by the toy company Mattel, which is probably why they look so crappy and impractical. It's hard to imagine what it was like for these actors moving in these costumes in the middle of a hot desert.
Come on, compadre. Walk me to a chopper.
Anyway, after meeting the general, Hunter immediately starts crushing on Persis Kambata. This makes perfect sense, seeing how she's the only woman in the movie.
Commander, we have traveled halfway around the world to learn how our forces will interface with yours to help destroy Guerrera. I hope your plan reflects greater precision than we have seen so far.
To be honest, their plan probably involves doing a lot of pop wheelies and shooting missiles at balloons.
Well, there are reasons for everything that we do, Major. Zara.
And do they include leaving your guests to bake in the middle of the desert, greeted by cowboy, and be attacked by wild creatures?
Well, she's got a point. Megaforce is a pretty shitty host.
Well, if it's a comfortable tour you're looking for, I have connections at Disneyland.
That came off a little creepier than he probably planned.
Target destroyed.
So after proving what a big D-bag he is, Hunter takes them all back to Megaforce's secret mountain headquarters, which is totally not just a bunch of models.
It puts the pyramids to shame.
Yeah, fuck you, ancient peoples. After loading them all onto a tiny golf cart, Hunter then drives them into a giant tuba. Don't look at me, I didn't add that noise. It was just there. This movie has a weird soundtrack. Then the movie establishes the hell out of what we've already figured by this point, that Megaforce has a lot of shit.
Forgive me if I appear to be a little confused. But how did you come by all this?
Well, all we know is ever so often they just back up a truck and unload a whole mess of stuff in all sizes and colors. They stuff.
See, I don't know if the movie is trying to make some kind of clever oblique statement about the reckless military spending of the 1980s military-industrial complex, or if they're just too lazy to explain how people are just giving Megaforce all this free shit. Does this seem clever or stupid? I have no idea. After showing off their exploding Wang collection, Megaforce invites General and Persis Kambata to dinner. Persis Kambata dresses like a normal human being, while Hunter dresses like a men's room attendant from the future. While at dinner, Hunter reveals that he has a history with Guerrera, and some totally stupid beef to settle with him.
I came that close to getting him back on our side.
What happened?
He stole my lighter.
That's it. That's the stupidest thing ever. After some more pointless bullshit, Megaforce outlines their plan to Persis Kambata the General to take out Guerrera, using a fancy hologram.
Our remaining planes are over the D. It's 5 kilometers to the dumps. We will strike at 0430, destroy fuel and ammo dumps and as much equipment as we can, withdraw and regroup by 0434.
So, drive to his base, blow up all of his stuff, then drive away. You didn't need a hologram for this, you know.
Will triangulate us towards an intercept point 5 kilometers from the border, adjusting our speed to arrive there 5 minutes before Guerrera. Maintain visual contact and close in on us until we cross the border there at approximately 07 17.
You know, your computer graphics are pretty rudimentary when you're pining for the technical wizardry of the original Tron movie.
Dallas, that was the best holograph we've seen yet. Sir?
Fuck you, Dallas. It's during this scene that Persis Kambata makes a startling declaration.
The Dom Perignon, make it for 61. I'm going with them on this mission.
I beg your pardon?
She said she's coming with you!
Commander, I'm a soldier, not a politician.
Major, my men are the finest soldiers that the free world can provide.
But you hired Dallas, so that argument is pretty much bullshit.
Excuse my presumption, but I find it difficult to believe that you possess the same expertise.
Try me.
Oh no, please. Not a series of montages. I trusted you, Persis. I thought you were better than them. Why are you doing this? So what follows is a protracted skydiving scene, meant to act as a metaphor for their courtship, interspersed with actual skydiving footage and the two actors against the blue screen. Instead of having them talk or find some meaningful common ground, it's just a bunch of stock footage. Although I don't buy Persis Kambata and Hunter, I do think those two stunt people are very much in love. So after a trip to Dave & Buster's, it's revealed that Persis Kambata has pretty much crushed every single test required to be in Megaforce. Then again, the bar can't be that high.
03005.
Well, Commander, a perfect score. What else would you like to see me do to prove I'm capable of going on this mission?
I have an apology to make.
An apology?
Yeah. For allowing this to go on as long as I did. It was unfair of me.
It's in this scene that Hunter explains to Persis Kambata that the presence of her uterus interferes with the advanced technology utilized by Megaforce. Yeah, I'm kidding, but the real explanation is just as stupid.
Is it because I'm a woman?
So what happens here is that Hunter basically mansplains the idea of unit cohesion to a trained military officer, and that his own burgeoning feelings interfere with his judgment. So because this is the 80s, Persis Kambata decides to stay behind and promises to have lots of sex with Hunter once he's done megaforcing.
We have our drink there when this is over. Okay?
Thus reducing a potentially interesting character to pretty much just a trophy. However, with the romantic subplot wrapped up, we can move on to what this movie is really about. People in stupid outfits doing stupid things. After what feels like about 1,000,000 years, Megaforce finally begins its offensive against Guerrera's forces. Kicking things off with a nighttime offensive actually presented in real time. It's in this sequence that Megaforce is actually at its best, and you could get a pretty clear idea of what Hal Needham was going for. A futuristic military action film that played heavily on his skill as a director of vehicular stunts. Unfortunately, it took us about an hour to get here. Even worse, however, is Megaforce's ghost of a plot getting in the way, as it's revealed that Hunter's arch nemesis Guerrera is really more of a frenemy than an enemy. Instead of Guerrera, as it turns out, the villain all along was politics. The UN decides to disavow Megaforce's actions because they were literally too awesome.
You've achieved the impossible. However, one of those exigencies we talked about earlier seems to have arisen.
Which one?
You chaps seem to have done rather too good a job.
Literally too awesome. But at least that brings us to Megaforce's climax. With Megaforce now persona non grata and facing down Guerrera's tanks, Hunter concocts an elaborate escape plan. It just so happens to involve a large multi-vehicle chase scene.
Bring him in.
Hal Needham's specialty. Hey, wait a sec.
Name here.
Why does he have a Confederate flag on his shoulder? Is he like a time traveler or something? Or just that guy that keeps posting Ron Paul stuff on your Facebook page? Anyway, Megaforce ends with a dazzling chase/battle scene that leads into the film's two most memorable moments. This scene where Hunter delivers a seemingly fourth wall breaking coda.
Hey! Hi, Duke. Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win. Even in the 80s.
And of course, so if you haven't guessed it by now, Megaforce flopped pretty hard, leaving in its wake an unwanted pile of merch, even a terrible Atari game nobody played. Wait a minute, was that Bryan Cranston? Holy shit, that was Bryan Cranston. Anyway, Megaforce is a hard movie to like. It tries to be an upbeat war movie, while forgetting the fact that good war movies are kind of bummers. All the action in a war movie is just window dressing. It's a means for the filmmakers to tell stories about loss, man's inhumanity to man, and other big existential questions. The most important takeaway for any war movie is that war is a terrible thing and should not be treated like a goofy extreme sport. To sum it up, Megaforce is not a good war movie because it doesn't tackle any big themes. The characters don't develop, there's no sense of stakes or loss. It's not a good action movie either. There's at least an hour build-up till we get to the big vehicular scenes, and there's really only about 2 of them worth noting. Apart from sheer nostalgic value, I really can't come up with any good reason for you to go out of your way to watch Megaforce. Except maybe for this one scene. But if you're curious anyway, the Blu-ray is wildly available. You could probably score a copy on VHS if you're willing to hit the old flea market circuit. Anyway, au revoir and awkward thumb kiss to all of you till next time.